Oh, we are live. There we go. Wow, that was quick. Right, welcome everyone to a random Wednesday hangout. I chat with Rod quite regularly now, and I just said, do you want to come on and have a catch up? So that's what we're doing. So how are you, Rod?
I'm fine, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. For those of you who perhaps don't know Rod, do you want to give us a bit of an intro?
Yeah, ex-Manchester lad. Now been living in Australia for the past 10.5 years. Carried on with my reselling part-time when I came over, and it went full-time, and then I had financial strains, so I had to go back into full-time employment and back into my trade and just do it on the side. But now I'm back on the saddle again, as they say. So it's been a bit saddle sore the past few weeks, but it seems to be, for me, it seems to be picking up a little bit, but that's not.
We'll get on to that because I couldn't catch your Wednesday live, but I caught up with it, and yeah, that was really quite interesting what Drew was saying about his predicament at the minute. But we'll touch on that in a sec. I just want to say hi. If you are watching live, as always, the live chat is available, so please pop in and say hi. If you've got any questions for either of us, please pop them in. If you do questions in capital, we might be able to notice it. But we're both not very good at keeping up with the chat.
I'm shocking. It is. That'd be really easy. No, I'm not hosting it. Just trying to, I can see.
Yeah. So we've got Swift Vids Gaming in. Adrian is in. Mr. Diggs, Watcher, 1421.
That's Adam, I think.
Some bloke with a kangaroo icon called Pommy Pickers. No idea who that is.
Oh, I'm in.
Lucy, Peter Ray. Hi, Peter. I think Peter's joining you, isn't he? Soon?
Yes. Me and Peter have been. Me and Peter chat quite regularly. I mean, I like Peter's channel because it just doesn't show the reselling. He'll show. He goes on a lot of trips and what have you, and various places. It just shows a different side to his story, and that's what I quite like about Peter's channel. Yeah. And we've been talking about getting together, and tomorrow night, I think it's your time. Peter's on my channel, yeah.
Cool.
Or is it tomorrow morning? Oh, yeah, I don't know. This is confusing with the time differences.
Well, it's night time here now.
Yeah, it's
morning. Well,
it's 5:06 in the morning in Queensland. So yeah, on a Thursday.
Oh yes, see, that messes with my head. It's Thursday where you are. It's Wednesday here. Crazy. So yeah, welcome everyone in the chat. We've got various other people popping in to say hi. The Vinegar Jar, which is Peter Cummins, I believe. Pete Harrison. Oh, Zahir's in. Hi, Zahir.
Hi, Zahir.
About to eat a steak slice. Nice. So I'll scroll down to the end, see if we've got any questions before we carry on. Blimey, lots of chat. I can't get to the end.
Polly's there saying, "Oh my God, Rod, that's too early." I've actually been up for about an hour and a half. In the summer, it's coming towards our summer. I think it was spring, so we're still in spring, but we're coming towards summer. But you got to understand, it gets insanely warm in the shed during the day. So I generally get up about 4:30. It's bright.
I'm going to bed about 4:30 in the morning.
That's a sharp intake of breath. But it's bright, and it's still relatively warm then, So I get a bit more done in the morning. And in the afternoon I can have my nana nap. So works all right. I'm not joking when I say I have a nana nap.
Oh, I love a nap. You don't have to convince me. Talking of the weather, one of the questions I wanted to ask you about, I was watching, it was kind of a news current affairs program thing, and they had a special on the drought in certain parts of Australia where they've not had rain for months on end. I don't know if that's anywhere near you, but are you being affected by the global warming thing and all that? I know it's hot and it's getting into your summer, but is it worse than normal?
The drought you mentioned, everyone I speak to locally, even the old farmers from way back, this is the worst they've seen it for absolutely ages. I haven't seen decent rain, and I class even decent rain as something that lasts more than 10 minutes for at least 5 months. It really is, but everywhere is just dust. The other day there was a storm came through, but it wasn't a rainstorm. It was just that mad wind, and because there's no moisture in the ground, all the topsoil everywhere is being blown away, and it was like the scene in The Mummy where the plane's escaping the storm cloud. It's just you shut the windows and just batten down. It was. Yeah, it's not good. I would not like to be a farmer at the moment. It's you hear a lot of stories of farmers actually having the cattle just knocked on the head because they've no grain, if you like, to feed the entire herd.
Yeah, they interviewed a lady farmer, and she was having to buy in feed for the cows, and it just isn't sustainable. And she's like, if this carries on, we're out of business. It's game over. So
I don't feel that. I mean, I'm viewing it still with external eyes, even after 10 years. But I don't think the government here does enough for the farmers in situations like this, because if they all go under, what we're going to eat? We're a million miles away from anywhere.
I think the problem's gone beyond that. You can't. What can you do when there's no rain? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did read something on the internet ages ago about the Chinese developing. It sounded like something out of Austin Powers. They're actually developing some kind of thing which is launched into the area above a town, and I don't know exactly how it works. You'd have to Google it. I don't even know if it was a joke, but it basically creates clouds and moisture, and it will rain. So the Chinese are at the point of actually controlling the weather over the cities. So
if they can pull that off, that's a game changer. Can you imagine? That's.
I mean, if you could do that in like places like Africa,
you can't magically make there be moisture in there up in the air.
I don't know how they do. I mean, here's just saying NASA create rain clouds. So. Is it along that technology?
I can imagine if there's moisture up there somehow, making it come down is one thing. But if it's not there, you can't make it appear. But that'd be awesome. So you're in your summer season or heading into summer season now, where you are.
Yeah, I think a true blue Aussie in the chat will put me right, I dare say. But I think on the 1st of December, our summer officially starts.
And for sourcing, does that make sourcing better? Do you rely on yard sales, garage sales for stock or not?
Not really. No. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube, and perhaps too much. And I see like in the UK, and I know from my own 40 years of experience living there, come winter, car boot sales are non-existent, unless they're indoors, obviously. And a lot of you guys are reliant on sourcing a lot of stock, like a squirrel gathering its nuts before winter.
That's exactly how Andrea describes us.
And that isn't a real issue, I feel, for my area. I know Brad and Jazz, who two Aussie thrifters who are in the chat. They live in South Australia in Adelaide, and my cousin lives there. And the weather there is, I would say, it's more akin to the UK. Perhaps not as the UK is not as sunny, but they have the rain, the cold, etc. So I don't know if their situation's different from mine, but yeah, I don't really have that issue of thinking, oh, there's no garage. Garage sales do stop in the summer around here because it's just too hot to sit outside, with your stuff, and
right.
it does get insanely hot from.
So you have the opposite problem to us. We have too much rain, and you'll do what?
I mean, the charity shops seem to be open all year round. I've had to travel further afield these days. I think I've basically the area I live in.
We have to go and have a cough.
I don't die on me.
I'm not dying. I'll be back.
It's normally the women who do that, run away from me. Well, he's going to have a look in the
I think the lemonade went down the wrong way.
No, you may setting me off now. I forgot what was going on about now.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
I've completely forgot. See, this is what happens when you hit 52.
He's gonna keel over, I assume that means. It's all the time in here. I've been sorting out more. You'd never guess what I'm listing. More dusty old cassettes.
Oh God, you've started. I saw a few people on YouTube. A few UK resellers seem to be jumping on the cassette train. They've had some good sales by the looks of it. But it's weird. There's a charity shop in my local town, and outside they've got this milk crate, absolutely rammed full, and four cassettes for $1. I just quickly scanned over them, and I'm not even bothering. They're just like so obscure, the titles. No, I'm not going to go down the cassette. The cassette road.
It's very hit and miss. I do want to do a video to wrap up my experience of that 600 cassette job lot, which I'm coming towards the end of. I've now marked what's left down, and I've been running auctions to get rid of what's left. Soon I'm just going to lock that up, clear what's left, and do like a wrap up of how I got on with those. But it is very hit and miss. There's a couple of things I just want to have a look at. Tea Cake says, question for me: why do you call Walter O'Neill? You kept calling him Edward when you visited the shop. He goes by either names. It confuses me. I tend to refer to him as Edward now, but I know he uses Walter just as much.
Yeah, I need to send Walter Edward. I call him Edward.
Either or do.
I need to send him a photograph actually of this vase or vase, however you pronounce it. I got the other week from the tip shop, which that tip shop these past few weeks has produced some incredible finds. I'm just amazed at people. I'm going to say it, I'm amazed at people's stupidity, their overall stupidity, and laziness of donating stuff, which, if they had the gumption just to put it on eBay, they would make some good money. But just pure lazy and stupid, in my opinion. But
I thank the Lord for those people, Rod. I think
I'd actively encourage it. But
exactly.
I've got this vase, and it's I showed it in the Waffle the other week. It's a Capo di Monte vase, and it's quite big, and I just value Walter's opinion on it. So
his knowledge. If you saw the video, well, I'm sure you've seen some of his videos on his channel, but when we went up there to his shop, we filmed a bit around the shop, and he could have talked in detail about every item in there for hours.
Yeah,
I think I edited it down to maybe half an hour or something, but it's just information pouring out of him, and he loves it. He's so passionate about it. That's what I came away with when we went up there to meet him. He's just living his own little dream,
Has he mentioned anything to you, or in any of the chats in the UK, about this possibility of this TV show he's going to co-host?
Yeah, I don't know if he said or given any updates on his channel. I chat to him in private, and nothing, as far as I know, is definite yet. I think it's all in the kind of maybe not scenario. He certainly hasn't confirmed anything with me, but I don't want to speak for him. But hopefully he's going to be on an antiques show as an expert.
I got the idea it was something like Cash in the Attic stroke bargain hunt type TV show they were doing. I don't know. Anyway, that's for him to.
Yeah, hopefully it'll come off, because I mean that I was saying to him, if he could get on the BBC or whatever on telly, you imagine what that would do for A, his shop, and B, his channel, and it would just be amazing.
It'd be happy days for him, wouldn't it? He would be living his dream then, wouldn't he? You know,
absolutely. Yeah, talking about antiques and being paid for it. Imagine that. Yeah. Oh, Drew's in.
Is it? Oh gosh.
Yeah. I was saying before we went live, I managed to catch up on your Waffle. I'm sorry to hear things are, aren't going well in your shop, Drew. But I wanted to touch on that. I mean, he was saying that maybe it's because they're setting up a new server and they're migrating people across. And the trouble with this is none of us really know, and none of us really know what's going on behind the scenes. And eBay don't openly tell us what's going on. They just impose these changes on us. And
sorry. I
was going to say that the trouble is we all rely on eBay, some more than others, for our income.
Yeah,
and it's serious, and it's worrying, and it's disturbing to see people suffering if their sales aren't coming in, and there's nothing really we can do about it other than keep listing, which Drew is an advocate for, and fair play to him to just knuckling down and listing. But it
is everyone's feeling it in some way, and I speak to Andrew my missus would say I speak to him more than her at some point. But his sales have tanked. They have really took a nosedive. I won't go into the monetary value because it's it's for him to say, but it is a real nosedive, and he just doesn't know what's caused it with his stores. I've got items the same as him. Mine are selling. His aren't. It's more or less exactly the same kind of description, same kind of pictures. He's got a theory that the items, I think I'm right in this theory, you'll probably correct me if I'm wrong, but he's saying all these new item specifics which eBay are having everybody update, he's thinking all them listings are then getting put onto a brand new server. And it's those items which, when he does a search, he's not finding. But all the items he's not updated are still available for viewing. Now, I've not really gone into any detail. The only time I update the specifics on my items is when every morning, say 9 o'clock, I'll go into my channel, to my eBay, and any items which are due to end that day, I'll end and sell similar. And it's only at that point I'll update the specifics because it flags them up with the red exclamation mark. So all my stuff is basically still in the old style of as basic as a description and specifics, and that's selling.
Yeah.
But it's almost like he's been putting this like holding depot somewhere while they're ready for flicking the switch on this perhaps new server where all this information's stored, ready to just flood the market.
At that point, maybe your sales will tank, and it'll switch.
So I hope, if that's true, then I hope they can't find the plug for this server, from my point of view, because my sales are just going nosedive. But I think
the thing is,
there's a lot of people going to reselling who are obviously new to it at that point and think it's a very easy way of you just put stuff on eBay and you get money. And a lot of people soon find out you can't rely just on eBay. You've got to spread your wings and find other opportunities to try. That saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Unfortunately, at the moment, eBay's basket's breaking every egg you put in it. So.
Oh, sorry, I just highlighted the wrong comment. You mentioned there about manually ending listings and relisting rather than letting them auto relist, because all fixed price stuff is now on Goodtillcancelled, as we know. And I've just started doing that. I was doing that earlier before we went live. A friend of ours, Derek Tap Peddler, swears by that. And that's working for him. So rather than letting it get to the end of its month and tick over, he goes in and checks every day. These are all ending today. I'll end them myself and relist. And Andrew Warner here says, in America, eBay have told sellers to end items and start again as a new listing, because once an item relists, it is layered. So every time it relists, get moved further and further down the listings.
There you go.
So that was my thinking with the Good Till Cancelled. If it doesn't sell, eBay slowly but surely ignores it. And I remember going back about 3 years on my channel, I watched a channel in America, which I can't remember, and they were saying at this point, we had all of our shop on Good Till Cancelled, way before you had to.
Yeah. And
I switched and I went to the other extreme, and I was doing 10-day cycles, and our sales shot up.
But so isn't that statement there from eBay contradicting what it's tried to do with Good Till Cancelled?
That's what I was going to say. When we actually chatted with Hannah at eBay, when they were imposing this, everything fixed price has to be Good Till Cancelled, they were saying the reason is it's good for you, it's good for the search results in Google and all of this, and it will improve sales, was what they were recommending, because something has to be listed for X amount of months to appear on Google. And I don't think it panned out for most people.
No.
So I'm starting to do what you were saying now, and end manually and relist, or sell similar actually.
Well, it was Derek Tap Peddler. You just mentioned him, and that's what he does. I think it was reading. He was on a live stream with I think his brother was on it at the same time with Andrew Moneymental, and I think he talked about it then, and it sort of my ears pricked up then, and I've started doing it, and I have noticed I think I've noticed an increase in sales, but it could all be just coincidental. I don't know.
Yeah. This is the other thing, because we're all scrabbling around in the dark. We don't really know why something sells. You know, I'm messing around with promoted listings, switching it on, switching it off, adjusting the, and then you get a flurry of sales and you think, oh, what did I just do? Yeah. But it could be totally unrelated. But then we keep doing this weird little thing. And
I had an item 2 days ago. I had this, I mentioned it last night in Waffle. I had this really old beaten up parts of an old train set, some rusty track and some carriages, and I had it on for $35 plus $10 shipping, and somebody sent me an offer of $10, and I says no, and then they countered with 12. I thought, I'm not even bothering answering anymore, and the next day it sold to a completely different person for full price. Now, has that communication in the eBay system regarding that item triggered something within eBay to say, hey, this has got a bit of interest, we'll boost it up, and if it sells, we're going to get some money? And if that's the case, then it's worked.
I wouldn't buy that one. That would be so easy to trigger. Then we'd just be messaging each other on all of our items all day long.
But again, it's one of them things. We don't know.
We could run a few experiments. We'll just start sending each other messages on our most expensive items, shall we? See what happens.
I got rid of mine last weekend.
Oh yeah, I'm going to get onto that. That was a cracker. Before we move on, Derek, we were just mentioning, who has a channel, click through and check out Derek's channel, says, yes, that is part of my daily routine. As I start my day around 9 a.m, I end and sell similar. Seems to work for me. So that's what we were talking about, not letting the Good Till Cancelled automatically roll over, but doing it manually, and it seems to work for Derek. But he goes on to say, although since the clock change, stuff is ending the 30-day cycle an hour earlier and has caught me out a few days. So, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, this has been going on since I started selling on eBay many, many years ago. People trying to second guess what works, why you're getting sales, why you're not getting sales. But it seems so prolific now. Everyone's trying to second guess it and getting desperate because everything's changing and we're not really understanding why things are changing, or is it helping or is it not?
I think you'll notice a lot of people who who comment in the various Facebook groups and have YouTube channels and etc. who've come into this research, I think over the next 3 months you will notice a lot sadly disappear, because it's just become either too much effort, they're so despondent with it. It's not, in their opinion, it's just not worth the hassle. I'm not getting the sales, and they'll go back into regular paid employment. Or if they're in regular paid employment, they might just say, you know what, forget it, it's too much hassle.
But I've seen that happening since I've been as part of this community.
Yeah.
You know, you see people come in all guns blazing, this is amazing, and then they vanish because I think it was too much like hard work.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. Because
Yeah.
it's not an easy option, and people who say it is are lying.
It's hard, but I'll use the word work loosely, because what other job allows you to just knock off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and just have a quick hour, you know? So none that I know.
It's tempting. Every day it's tempting.
But it is hard work, but I would rather be doing 60 hours a week effort doing this than 38 hours a week stood at, say, a lathe or a milling machine, which was what my trade was. So, you know. Definitely.
I mean, I do this for my own sanity, bizarrely, because I just didn't fit into a given role, whatever it was. I would rebel against whatever I was being told to do. You know, I needed to do my own thing. So it's, it works for me. Let's see if we've got any more questions before we talk about your impressive DVD sale.
Oh, yes.
Right, I can't see any questions. If I've missed questions, or if you've got questions for Rod, please pop them in again, because it's hard to converse with somebody and read the chat at the same time.
I like Adam's comment there. Watcher 1421.
So I was just looking at that. No matter how bad they shaft me. Yeah.
The rough end of the stick.
They have me by the ghoulies, yeah. Well, this is it. You know, we've all built up most of us have some sort of catalogue of stuff on there. It's not like you can just switch it off and suddenly set up elsewhere. And currently there isn't really another option like eBay. I mean, I know we've talked about this before. Will there be another option? Will that shake things up? Maybe there will, but there's nothing yet. But yeah, I was watching your chat earlier. And in fact, I think I knew about this sale before because you shared it with me. Do you want to tell us what you sold?
Weekend? A few of the people who were on the chat, obviously, last night will be aware of it. But you remember the TV show, the Australian TV show, was very popular in the UK, I would say, in the late 70s, 80s. The Sullivans. And,
Awful, I remember. I didn't like it.
I think I used to go home from school at lunchtime, and it was on then just before Pebble Mill. So when I heard Pebble Mill come on, I used to have to go back to school. Anyway, that's showing me age, isn't it? Pebble Mill.
People in the chat are like, Pebble Mill? What? What's that all about?
Google it. It's rubbish. The Sullivans. I went to. It was every year in Australia they have a nationwide garage sale trail, rather like your jumble trail sales, and went out a few weeks ago on it, and there was I think it's a rugby club did one, and this lady had the full 23 volumes, which was 156 DVDs of the entire every Sullivan's TV episode was on it. Now you can still buy these brand new, and I think they're about $65 a piece new, but you have to buy them direct from Crawford TV Production. So if you times 23 by $65 a piece, you've got quite a hefty.
Each individual is 65 new.
But each volume is 65. I think each volume has 7 discs in it.
That's crazy price.
But it's got a big following. You know, it's iconic. It's an Australian icon. And anyway, she had these there for $100. Well, I'd have bought them at that, but the Scotsman in me came out, and And I basically got it down to $50. I halved it.
That's impressive, Rod. That's impressive.
It is in the video I did. Not the negotiation, but the actual result. I just put it on. I said, look, no one is going to come and give you $100. People come to garage sales with $10, $20 expectations, not 100. So I'll give you 50. Yep, take it. So anyway, long story short, there was a set, and I think there's still a set on eBay Australia at the moment for $995. And I thought, you know what, they've cost me $50. I just want these in and out. I'm not a store, a hoarder store, you know. And I whacked them on for $750, free shipping. And 3 days later, bang, they went.
That's crazy. $700 of DVDs. Who has $750 to spare for a set of DVDs? That's bonkers. Was this an item that you knew had that value when you saw it, and you were like, hello? Yeah. Okay.
Everybody in the chat, yourself included, I mean, you've all got items in your head which you're on the lookout for. We've all got them items in our head which we'll share, and ones which we'll keep close to our chest. Andrew was the one who put me on to Crawford TV Productions, because you can't buy them in the mainstream high street stores. They never allowed them to go to places like Virgin or Sanity or whoever it is. And so there's certain TV shows which command a good price, such as there's one over here. It was a police TV show called Blue Heelers. Now, Andrew seemed to be always finding them copies of that show for ages, and I could not find a single one. But if you get a copy of that, you've hit a little gold mine. It was just that I managed to find the full set of the Sullivans, and that's what. So I tried calculating the hours it would take to watch all of them, and I think it ran into about a month.
Oh, really? Someone in the chat was just saying something about that. It's Peter. It says 156 DVDs of the Sullivans. Oh my God, what a way to spend 2 weeks, maybe a month, Peter.
Yeah, I think it's more of a month, if not slightly more.
Yeah. But yeah, it was great to see you, and you know, your excitement of finding it, your excitement of getting a quick sale. I mean, that's part of what we do this for, isn't it? That little thrill of finding it, and then to get a quick sale on it was just happy.
I had a really good 2 weeks. I had that sale. I had a $500 cash sale for a furnace I sold out of a storage unit.
Yeah.
But that garage sale trail, and I found the brand new in the box RM Williams boots, I got them for $80, and they're worth about $500. I just had a great day, and to be honest, I was half and half whether to actually go out, and I'm so glad I did now. You know, so yeah,
it's weird the days when it's a bit drizzly, or you don't want to get up, or I've got a hangover, or whatever it is, and you end up forcing yourself. That's when I do well. It's really odd, isn't it?
You just mentioned, just backtrack a bit. Andrew's just reminded me in the chat, because I meant to send him a text this morning, and to Brad actually. Someone posted on our Facebook group over here. He's saying about no communication between eBay and us, saying, you know, this is what we're implementing, this is when we're going to do it. This morning, eBay just turned the switch on the Australia Post postage app on eBay, which before you used to get the small bag price was, say, I think $7.55. Now they've switched over to the new changes within Australia Post, and it's up to about $8 something. They've not told anyone they're going to do it. They've just done it overnight. We all woke up this morning to print postage off, and it's gone up to the Australia Post current price to reflect their changes. We've not got that massive discount anymore, kind of thing. So another example of eBay just, you know.
So they've changed what they're charging you, but have they updated it on your listing, or are you now undercharging your customers? Well,
this is what I'll have to now go. If now have to go in and have a look at all the listings and either readjust the price or take it on the chin. Australia Post changed their pricing structure about a month or so ago. They completely changed the pricing structure, but eBay was very lax in updating their system to reflect the changes. So we was all still getting cheaper post through the eBay Australia postage app rather than going to the post office. But now they've done everything. But it's just a case of them doing it and not saying we're going to do it on such a date. You know, there's a few people in the chat on the group this morning have said, I wish I'd have printed all my postage off last night, which fortunately I did.
All right.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
And I've got some huge parcels to go today.
I agree with you. I don't think it would take much, you know, to have something on the seller hub. Oh, we've just got an echo. I can hear myself back. Oh, it's gone now. Like let's say you log into your seller hub, and before you carry on, you've got to click off a message, and the message says, just to let you know, we'll be doing this update, or we'll be changing this, just so we've got a bit of a heads up. It wouldn't be difficult to add a message in there that you have to read before you carry on listing or whatever it is, just to keep us in the loop. That's all we're asking, really, is because obviously they'll do what they want. It's their platform.
Oh, yeah.
Keep us in the loop, because without us, there is no platform.
Yeah, I think they forget that. They're too focused on the buyer, and they forget that, all right, if there were no buyers, they'd have no money. But if there's no seller to put the stuff on for the buyers to buy, then there's, you know, either way, yeah. But
I'm aware I'm very behind in the chat, but going back to people coming into reselling and then disappearing off, I think this was in relation to that. Fat Girl Sewing says, I think finances can be a struggle for lots of people too. They don't understand what it takes to keep up with a large amount of stock and what kind of capital on hand is needed. I think so, but also I think if you're going to try and do this full time, both Rod and I do this full time, I think what people underestimate is the variance you might get week to week, month to month. And you can't rely, when you're in a 9-to-5 paid salary job, you know what you're getting at the end of the month, regardless.
Yeah,
we don't, and that's something that I'm used to now. I've been doing this longer than I care to remember, but that I think is what people struggle with, maybe more than keeping up with, you know, stock on hand and the amount of capital you've got invested and that sort of stuff. It's how much you got coming through the door. I mean, coming into your bank account every month, because you don't know.
One of the biggest things which threw me off, threw me sideways, was when was it a couple of years ago, eBay Australia allowed you to buy the postage through Australia Post on the actual site, and it was far easier to print off a postage label, put it in a bag, and send it off. And come the end of that first month, and I had like a $1,500 bill off eBay for my fees. I'm like, where's all this? What's this? You know, you could easily say half, if not more than half, that was postage costs. And that threw me off initially, because I basically drew the money out of PayPal.
Yeah.
You know, had a good week or month and forgot about all this.
No, you haven't. Yeah.
So there's a lot to get your head around and keep on top of. It isn't, as they say, an easy gig. You've got to work on it.
With my Royal Mail account, I get billed monthly, and then that comes out of my account, I think, maybe a month later. So, you know, and if we have a super busy month, you know, I've kind of got a delayed big bill coming that it's easy to forget about. And likewise with the eBay payments, you know, they come out as a lump sum. So, yeah, keeping on top of that is not easy. Oh, chat's just jumped down. Hold on. I'm just trying to see if we've got any questions or comments. Fix it for reselling. Question: when you end listings to then relist, what reason do you give for ending? You don't have to give a reason.
You do on the app.
Oh, I don't do it on the app.
I was when I got up this morning, I was making a coffee and I was like waiting for the link and I thought there's a couple I'll start ending, but I was ending them individually on the app, and it did ask me on the app, what's the reason? There was 4 choices, I think. But when I've done them in bulk on the desktop, never had to explain the reasons as to why. So,
yeah, I've only ever done it on the desktop. Basically, I'll go into my active, highlight, I'll list them by ending soonest and highlight all the ones that I want to do, and then end them, and then I'll go into my unsolds and they'll all be there, and then I'll highlight them all again and click sell similar, adjust things if I need to, and then they're straight back up. So that's how I've been doing it.
Yep. Someone just said they had a question further up, but I can't scroll up that far. It's not allowing me.
Oh, okay. Pop it back in again. I'll try and find it. Oh, Bumcrack Pickers in. Everybody's favourite username. Hello, how are you? Let's see if I can find another question. Andrew Moneymental's in.
Oh, how did his date go?
Oh, I don't know. You have to let us know, Andrew.
He's still alive, so it must have gone half well.
I can't see the question that's being referred
to. I think it was way at the beginning.
Stevie there says, picked up a photo album of India during wartime, / colonial times, paid £5 and just sold to a US buyer for $199.
Wow.
Cool. I've still got that, all those 2 or 3 albums of German Second World War photos.
I was just going to ask, was it you who had the collection of old photographs?
Yeah. I had 2 or 3 times I had interest from private buyers who had seen or heard about the collection through the channel, and I actually agreed a price with one guy. No, 2 of them actually agreed a price.
Right.
And then it all fell through both times. It's really annoying. So the plan with those, when I'm going to find time to do this, is to take them to a specialist military auction and get them auctioned off. Well, but I'm quite happy to wait. I'm not in any hurry. They're not going to lose any value.
Well, Ken, I remember when I first started watching YouTube videos, it was yourself and then Zahir, and Ken Chapman used to do quite a lot, but he stopped for whatever reason. That's his affair. But I was looking at Ken's store the other day. Have you seen how many listings he's got?
Oh, thousands. What's he on? 10,000?
There's something like 44,000 listings.
Is he that high now? I know he was.
I'm like, but he deals a lot in them photographs, old photographs, postcards. Would that not be something he might be interested in taking off you? I know Ken's from my neck of the woods back in Manchester, so he's probably as tight as me. But he'd want it for nothing. But
yeah, I don't know whether he'd be interested, but he probably wouldn't pay me what I'd want for them.
No, that's right. Yeah.
And yeah. I would like the reason I've been holding out. I'm thinking taking it to a specialist military auction that sell worldwide is. Yeah. I would love this ideally to go back to Germany. You know what I mean, and go back to where it should be, in my opinion, and keep as a collection as well. I wouldn't want it to be broken down. Because that was one of my first thoughts. There's some really nice, pictures of tanks on the battlefield and this and that in there, and I know they would sell as individuals, but I feel it's one person's collection of his story through the war, really. So I'd rather it kept together. I'm a bit sentimental like that. So
what did you pay for it, if you don't mind me asking?
I paid at a car boot sale, I want to say 70 pounds, I think. He knew it was of some value.
Yeah.
I got him down a little bit. I think it was 70.
Yeah.
I've no idea what they could be worth, but we'll see. I need to get that done. Like many other things, I need to get done.
I have a shed full of things to get done and a house, as I'm reminded on a daily basis.
Yeah. Kim, I think this is going back to eBay not communicating. Why don't they send emails? They have the technology. Well, they are an online company. You'd think they'd, give. I mean, changing those postage rates, you should have been pre-warned, because that's affecting your day-to-day business, really, isn't it?
In fairness, we were 2 months ago, because we
Right.
knew the changes were going to happen. And I suppose we've all been, hey, I'm getting it still at the cheaper price, blah, blah, blah. And now it's ended. It's like, someone's took the ball away.
Right. Okay.
But it was a case of they've just done it. They've not said, right, look, Wednesday night when you're all in bed, you'll wake up on a Thursday morning and these will be the new prices. It's just happened. And I think that's what's irked a few people. So
yeah. Back from Burnout, I assume, is down there with you in Australia, because he says
that's Mel, yeah.
Right. We should have had a warning date so we had time to adjust the listings. Exactly. Yeah. A date so you know when your deadline is, so you can all scrabble around and change it at the last minute, which is what I would have done. Let's see if there's another. Oh, let's just jump down. Ken McMillan. eBay do have an announcements page which keeps sellers informed of changes and any ongoing problems, but there's a big but there. The page is not very prominently placed, and unless you know where to look, they should be putting it right on our seller hub and saying, we're doing this, it's going to affect you like this, it will be done by this date, I think, as a minimum.
But I know that when they send out the seller updates, it'd be interesting to know how many actually read them, because I'm very lazy in thinking, I'll just mark it as read kind of thing. I don't.
I'm similar in that I'm nose to the grindstone listing, and if I'm not doing that, I'm off doing other things. So I'm no good at keeping up with emails. But if it was a big box that appeared, so I couldn't carry on Seller Hub or listing until I've read it and clicked it, I might read them then. Titch, that's a nice comment. I've been doing this for about 2 months part-time, and I find it really helps my general well-being. A lot of this is down to guys like you. Appreciate that. Let's see if we've got any more. Paul has a question. Can you get that eBay woman, I assume you mean Hannah, to explain what is happening? I'm not in a hurry to do another eBay chat. They've not been very well received. In fact, every time we release one, we get a lot of flack and lose an awful lot of subscribers, which I don't think is fair, because all we were trying to do is bridge that gap between eBay and us, and all Hannah was trying to do was get across their point of view and answer questions, but we got an awful lot of flack.
I didn't take to her very well, I will be honest. I'll be honest, I didn't take to her well. She was very autonomous. She was it was almost like listening to Forrest Gump in her answers. Very but there was no emotion, or she was just very
I know what you're saying. To defend her in some way, I know that she has to be so careful of what she says, how she says it, and has to be very by the letter. It's a whole corporate thing, and she's representing a massive international corporation. So she had her hands tied, which made it very difficult, and they had editorial control. We had to send the footage up and they'd edit it and they'd come back. Usually they didn't much, if anything, out, because when you watch them, nothing changes. But they had that option. So I don't know. Going back to the original question, I don't know, but I'm not falling over myself to carry on with those videos.
Have they approached you to do any follow-ups?
I think Andrea's spoken to Hannah. We've had emails back and forth a bit, but we've not got anything in the works.
I didn't take to her too. She was nice to look at. But
I think Bumcrack says this was the question. Being an Amazon FBA seller, would you advise against the eBay selling route as an additional income? Is the effort sourcing secondhand gems no longer worth the hassle? Well, I wouldn't say knock eBay on the head for the sake of FBA. I do more on eBay these days than I do Amazon. I'm scaling Amazon down. And is the effort sourcing secondhand gems worth the hassle? Well, speak to Rod about DVDs. Yeah, I think the point is here. I mean, I think the original asker was Shady Kerno. The point is you have to work out what business you want and what works for you, because it's all very well for us to say, yeah, eBay is great and we enjoy it and it works for us. That's us. Or certainly me, eBay works. I do dabble in Amazon, and we're going to speak about Amazon to Rod in a minute as well.
I'm just waiting for the flack to come my way from a few people.
But yeah, I would say eBay is well worth it. And as a platform, it's perfect for those one-off gems, those unique items, or perhaps antique items. I mean, we mentioned Ken earlier. I think eBay is the perfect place for what Ken does, and it works for him. But you have to find what works for you and make it work for you. So anyway, thanks BCP for finding that. So we mentioned Amazon there. You revealed a bit of a revelation earlier today.
Yes. My sort of loathing and hatred for... Well, let's set the stall out first. When I was in the UK, I did do Amazon. Not to the levels you guys do, because I was still mainly eBay, and I just dipped my toe in with Amazon in the UK. But when I came over here, there was no option for Amazon. It wasn't here. And then about a year or so ago, they announced they were coming, and everybody had high hopes and great expectations, and it was just absolute rubbish. So my feelings on Amazon's well documented on my channel. But you know, it's like treat them as a person. You know, people change. Hopefully change for the better. So I tried reactivating my account, but they wouldn't allow it, and I think it was mainly due to the phone call I had with one of the representatives, and subsequently resulted in me being banned from Amazon. And I had to reopen a new account, and I got notification this morning that they've said you're now ready to sell again on Amazon, because you have to send off your driver's license, a bank statement, don't you? I don't know if you did back in the day, but
I can't remember. It's been so long. I don't know.
Yeah. So I got the notification. Yeah, I'm not a turncoat, Drew. I'm just exploring all possibilities. So I will report back after Christmas, because I've come across a particular item which I think lends itself well to this period, this time of year. It ticks all Amazon's button. Don't reveal what it is. You know.
I was going to say I wouldn't dare. Is it one that we talked about a while ago?
Yes.
Oh right, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that could be good.
It ticks all Amazon's boxes. It's brand new. It's barcoded. It's perhaps seasonal. It's a one-off item which is not available outside of Australia. So if I offer it for international shipping, which I will do, hopefully Amazon might be the platform to kickstart my fresh reselling career. But you've got to, you know, I know I talked to Andrew last night after the Waffle privately, you know, and he was questioning my ethics for going back to Amazon and giving them another go. But the way things are with eBay at the moment, I think you've got to bite your lip and try other things as well, regardless of the experience you had with them.
I think you're right. I think you've at least got to give it a go. You know, give them a second chance, and you may be cursing them come January, and you know, we'll see.
I've just looked at I think Bumcracks just put a link in, and I think it was the video I did ranting about Amazon. Yeah, that might come back to haunt me on several occasions in the future. But
my good friend Tom is in, who loves a rant. He says, "Don't get me ranting about Amazon." Oh, I could start. I've said it all before. That they wind me up to a point where I've been ready to just walk away from Amazon several times myself, believe it or not. Yeah. And then I get a run of amazing sales on FBA that I couldn't get anywhere near on eBay. I mean, I share some with you, and you're like, "What? You know, we can't get that on eBay." And I'm like, "I know. This is why I stick with it." But yeah, they do.
A few years ago, I used to follow. Well, I still do follow him, but I used to watch Tom's videos, and he used to do the DH of the week.
You can say
I used to really like that. I used to really like that. But I know about 3 or so years ago, when I used to, watch his videos regularly, he seemed to be always sending in a lot of media to Amazon. And then a few videos later, it seemed like it fell out of favor with it. He just didn't like it anymore. So
it's more to do with restrictions.
Oh, right, okay.
Because I suffered the same way, that I've been restricted in DVD and CD, so I can't sell anywhere near the volume of media, because anything that's deemed as popular, has a low sales rank, you can't touch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just said there in the chat he's restricted. All right, okay. Yeah, see, this is going to be a whole... This particular item I'm talking about, I won't know until I try listing it this morning if I can even sell it. So...
You're right, and it may well be... Yeah, it may well be that you'd have to get ungated in a certain category. I won't reveal, obviously, but yeah, and you've got to jump through all those hoops to get the account, to find out that maybe you can't sell what you want to sell. But you've got to try these things, Rod. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I like selling on... I don't mind selling on Facebook. I treat people who don't turn up to pick something up as a non-paying bidder. At least with Facebook, you can list it straight away. You've not got to wait so many days for them to this, that, and the other, and then you can relist it with eBay. But I know Andrew, who, like I say, we do the Waffle with, he was adamant a few months ago. He hated Facebook, but I know Andrew started putting stuff on Facebook now. So that shows to me just how bad eBay is getting at the moment, or is at the moment, if it's forcing Andrew to go onto Facebook, because I know how much he despises it, but he's exploring other options. So don't shoot me because I'm saying I'm going to Amazon again.
People are guessing what you're thinking about selling. Is it a boomerang? Any returns will be easy.
Oh dear.
Okay, I'm actually up to date in the chat for once. Andrew's talking about his menopause pills.
That is something I thought he was joking when he first mentioned them, because I thought, why would a woman buy them off eBay? That was my first thought. You don't know if you're getting a packet of Smarties or something. It's probably what he's selling, Smart M&Ms or something.
Allegedly, we can't prove anything.
Oh yes, allegedly. Sorry, Andrew. Allegedly.
So yeah, were there any other things you wanted to chat about, Rod, while we've got you here?
Well, like I said earlier on, I'll be chatting to Peter tomorrow, which is 2 days away for you. I know I'm just basically, when I finish the chat, I'll just head off out into the shed and carry on, does what everyone else does, carry on listing. And I noticed in the comments earlier on, somebody mentioned about WWE. And I know Zahir used to, on his early videos, used to rave about the belts, the wrestling belts. And that video game haul I got last Friday, I paid 130 for, and I got, I think it was 90 PS2 games, 14 or 15 Xbox, and a few consoles, this, that, and the other. I started listing the video games 2 days ago, and the 3 of them, well, I've sold 6 up to now of the video games, but 3 of them I wouldn't have thought would be the ones to go first, and they're WWE ones.
Okay.
And just that comment earlier on caught my eye. And if you go and have a look on eBay at the moment in the searches, in the solds for WWE video games, they over here, they're selling quite well, not for massive money, but regularly. And it just kind of makes you think, what would you of all the video games on an old PlayStation 2, why would WWE suddenly, I thought it was on I'll use the term sport loosely, was on the decline. Why are they, still?
I don't know. I remember, I think you shared one of those with me, and it was a title that when we had our gaming shop, I think I said to you, I'd have piles of those and couldn't give them away.
Yeah,
and they'd still be worth next to nothing in the UK. The old SmackDown versus Raw 2008 or whatever, that sort of era.
That was it. It was a 2006, and I don't know. Maybe someone's got a WWE collection and they just want to, get it all together. But eBay will never cease to amaze me. The sheer level of, I'll say tat that you can sell on it. Like they say, one man's treasure is trash is another man's treasure, and I showed some things on the Waffle last night what I picked up that I got from the tip shop. What people donate this stuff, yet someone will always find a use for it. And eBay is a good and still is a good platform to get it despite its problems. You just got to stick with it, and But Tom's just put a comment there. Some Aussie games are rare because the laws are strict there. Yeah, no. You might need to speak to Andrew about this. He bought, if I'm right, he bought a load of games which were released in the UK but weren't released here, and he tried selling them on eBay, and eBay pulled them because they picked up on the rating, and they were a banned game over here. But if you can, actually squeeze a few of them through, they are quite saleable because of the rarity value.
Yeah, I've always sold particularly obscure and collectible games have gone to Australia from the UK.
Yeah.
I think I might be wrong, but I had a rare one, I don't know, about a year ago, Tomby 2. I think that might have gone international. I might be wrong. But that sort of ones that I think weren't released down there.
Yeah.
Do really quite well because we're the same PAL region coding, so they play as well.
Yeah.
I've noticed, I've just had a super chat. I need to mention that quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Down under.
Yeah, that's Damien.
Thanks, Dame. So that's Damien, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
He'll want a receipt.
In the post. There's a question from Titch. Nick, do you find reselling has taken your and Andrea's relationship to a better place?
Oh.
Interesting question. Even though my wife and I have only been married a year, this is great time together. It can cause arguments with stock and with difference of opinions on how we should do things within the business. That's always been, a spark point for arguments, particularly when we work together in retail, actually, that things could get quite tense. But on the flip side of that, we share so much together and so much time together.
Yeah,
I think it is a positive. And the time we particularly enjoy is if we go boot sailing together, or if we go yard sale, trail, those videos you put out, you can tell we're just enjoying ourselves, and we'll spend that whole day together working. That's work. It's like, hello. So that side of it has been good for our relationship. But I won't pretend that working with your spouse 24/7 all the time is easy, because it's not. I have a separate office for a reason.
Trish doesn't get involved with me with the reselling, so she'll go out and she's picked up stuff from charity shops, op shops, but she has no desire to even get involved with eBay. It just doesn't interest her. I think you've got to be of a certain leaning towards it, and she doesn't particularly like it. Tom's put a comment there. I don't mean Andrew Moneymental. I mean the Andrew over here, by the way.
That one.
Yeah, there's too many Andrews.
Somebody asked, I've lost the question now, was asking what our favourite resellers to watch on YouTube are. I still enjoy watching Lonnie. I think he does an amazing job on his channel. I think he's just really watchable and likable, and well, he's a nice guy anyway, and that comes across. So I'd probably have to say Lonnie. I think what he does and how he's built his channel, and he's approaching 40,000 subs.
Wow.
He's overtaken me and left me in the dust.
Wow.
So yeah, check out Lonnie. Garage Flips, he calls the channel, if you haven't already. So who do you watch? Do you watch the Aussie channels more? Because I was going to ask you about that actually. Do you watch more Australian resellers because you can relate, or is it more UK because you can relate more to us over here?
I can relate to them both equally. Obviously, the Australian ones I'll watch. I'll have to be honest and say I watch more of, because the items they pick up are more relatable to what I can find.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy watching. I like watching them for all over. I used to watch Craigslist Hunter quite a lot.
Yes.
But I started to go off his channel because I could no longer relate to it, because he's got this bricks and mortar store, and you know, some of the figures, sales figures he was putting out and what he was doing on eBay, etc., etc. I could not relate to that because, well, for one, I wasn't doing them, but two, it's all very well having effectively a pawn shop where the stock comes to you.
Yeah,
you know, the stock comes to you. We have to go out and actively source it. But all the content he puts out is good. You can't deny it. But I just found it to become more unrelatable to my situation, mainly because he had a bricks and mortar store, you know.
Yeah, he's got a very unique setup there. I mean, I don't know if you were following my channel when I had him on for a hangout like this for an hour or so, and we had so much in common. And I remember when we had our gaming high street store, that was my world. People just brought games to me and sold them to me all day long, and media, CDs, DVDs, and games, consoles, all of that stuff. I just stood there and they bought them through the door. I named my price. They either sold it or they didn't. And that was my world. And I miss that. I miss that element of it. I do enjoy the hunt, but there's something beautiful about people just coming through the door and going, "Do you want this? Yes, please."
Of course I do. Get any more? There's a guy I watch in the US. He was the first US guy reseller I ever watched. That was about 5 years ago, and he I've said it a few times. He was the first one to actually give me a shout out on his channel, and that's where me and Andrew kind of hooked up with me, etc. and what have you. And that's a guy called Global Voodoo, Mike Franco.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He's put a lot of videos out, you know, about storage units at the moment, but he's not put as many out recently. And he tended, the last series he did of storage units, one unit seemed to do about 10 videos, and it kind of got a little bit, you know, all right, that's another box you've opened. What, you know, I still like watching his content, but he's not put anything out for a while, so I don't know whether he's
I never really followed him a great deal, because at the time when I was kind of watching a lot more American channels, he was just causing an awful lot of controversy and winding people up left, right. He has that kind of personality, doesn't he, where he likes to poke people.
I remember 5 years ago, and I've said it, I used to sit outside this factory where I worked, and this is 5 years ago. This is where I first saw your channel, and then not long after Zahir and Tom the English Picker. And around about that time, Global Voodoo put a video out, and he used to do it from his garage, and he had this little kind of a Frank Sinatra Trilby hat going on thing. And he put a video out, and it caused so much upset because he was moaning at the time that people should be paying other resellers for their information. We shouldn't just be giving this information out freely. And it caused a massive divide in the US at the time. And but his subs went up.
There's always opinions and controversy about even just sharing, even just having a channel. In the early days of me doing this in the UK, I got so much flack just for talking about how to make money on eBay. And serious amounts of trolling. And it was like, hello. I think people have got over it now because it's like we're in the information age. People are going to talk about what they do. I mean, just look at Instagram. That's just the UK Instagram scene has just exploded. There's more people talking about reselling on there than on YouTube by a mile now, I think.
Well, I got a message this morning of someone, and they've regarding Instagram, and because I was talking to them about other avenues to explore, and I know people have built up Shopify stores on Instagram and this, that, and the other, but from what they were saying, there's no real reason to have a Shopify store on Instagram. You can sell direct on Instagram and set up an Instagram shop. So I'll be looking at that the next few days to start listing items on Instagram. Because I know in the UK you've got things like Depop, is it Vintage or Vinty or something? Loads of different selling apps. We're very restricted on what we've got over here. We've got Facebook, Gumtree, you might as well kick that into the sea. We've got Depop, but I've sold one item on Depop. I'm not in that age bracket. I'm not down with the kids, as they say. So I'm not really skillful in the art of selling on Depop. I don't fully understand it or come close to understanding it. So I'm going to ditch that. But I'm going to have another look at this Instagram shop setup and just see where we go with that. Maybe. Yeah,
Andrea's dabbled with promoting items through Instagram a bit, and she's also tried that on Facebook. We've actually found the most success we've had recently, or sort of kind of new business we're bringing in, is through YouTube. It's through people that support and follow our channel, wanting to buy our stuff. And that has just, we never used to share our eBay openly. It wasn't about promoting our business. It was about sharing and helping others. And that's still the main force of our channel. But I then realized, once I realized 5,000 people follow our store, that people are finding it anyway. And people were asking on a daily basis. I get people, what's your eBay? What's your eBay? And I just ignored them all. And other people started answering for me. And now if you Google my name, my eBay page is one of the results anyway. So it's like, why am I not sharing it? And then we started openly sharing it, and people have started buying just to thank us for the videos, or, you know, just to support what we do. And that's been a game changer, really has.
Yeah, somebody actually bought an item off me through seeing the item in a haul video about 2 weeks ago. You know, it was a DVD, box set DVD, and it wasn't the Sullivans, but it was another one. And
that's a really big fan if they buy a £750 box set.
But they contacted me privately and asked if I still had it for sale, or if they could provide the link to the eBay store so they could buy it. And I said, well, I'll sell it you just privately, and I'll do you a discount, and it'll get rid, whatever I would have paid in fees. I'll not put the discount onto you.
Yeah.
So that's gone. Yeah, I don't know if they've received it yet. They've not got back to me. So hopefully it's all gone well.
I need to quickly mention before I forget, I've had this comment highlighted here. Is Mr. March, are you Mr. March, or was that meant to be me? I can't remember.
That's you, mate. I'm December.
The question is Mr. March still doing the calendar? Now, some people may not be aware what this is. Now, Rod has this idea, which is going to be for next year now. Am I right or not?
Yes, because it was an idea I had bubbling around, and I made a flip comment about it on a chat with Andrew, and it just seemed to develop momentum at a massive speed in about an hour or two, and caught me off guard, if I'm being honest. I think the time scale for getting it out for this year would have been too short. So basically what I want to do is put a resellers calendar together so we can make some money for charity. I will say here, I am not getting anything monetary from it at all. It will go to a charity, which we'll have a vote on where you'd like, it to go. But all I can say is at the moment, it's not going to start until let's get Christmas out of the way, and because everyone's got enough on the plate at the moment as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get your tasteful photographs of yourself in some surrounded by tat. So like I'm doing Christmas because it's my birthday at Christmas. So I'm going, Santa Claus outfits surrounded by tat, that kind of thing. But think of the Calendar Girls stroke Full Monty.
Yeah, so the idea, if you've not seen Calendar Girls, basically that was sort of middle to late age women in the buff with like cream buns here and stuff. So the idea is that we have strategically placed tat.
Yes. I wouldn't advise use of eBay tape across this region.
Yes. And I think there are ladies involved as well. Am I right? Bronwyn?
It's open to, obviously not mine is obviously, but men and women. Yeah.
And Andrew is Mr. July, but don't let that put you off.
Andrew wanted to be Mr. Year. He wanted the full year. But the thought of having Andrew on my fridge for 12 months, kind of put me off. But also, I'd like, if anyone's ever had any experience of doing a calendar and having them printed off or print on demand services, could you either pass, I don't want to burden Nick with any of this, but if pass a message on through to Nick or myself, mm-hmm. Just to, companies you've used or the experiences you've had with different companies.
Yeah. I think you're right. Although Jasmine says, no, I'm living for this calendar. Don't make us wait. I think to do it properly and to give yourself time so it's not stressful, you need that long lead time to get all the photos in and to get the printing sorted out and to promote it properly. If we're going to do this, we want to make a chunk of cash with charity. There's, I've done charity things in the past, and you need a lot of preparation and a lot of lead time to promote it and get people interested. So I think you're right. But yet the original question, yes, I am still apparently Mr. March. I came into that chat and didn't know what you were talking about, and you had signed me up before explaining what it was. You were like, well, pick a month, Nick. I'm like, why? What are we doing? Yeah, brilliant.
Well, some of us over here are under the impression that Andrew, who I do the waffle with, this is why he's gone on his diet. He's getting in preparation for it. He's going to be all pumped up again for it.
It's going to be great. I can't wait for that. Oh,
Brad
in
the chat. He said he got signed up to it by Jazz. That's his partner. She volunteered him without his knowledge, but I think it might have backfired on her because a few people then commented, "So, oh, you're a reselling team." So it should be a team effort. So she might end up being in it herself.
Okay.
Depending on how Brad can work it. So
excellent. Belinda's come in and doesn't have a clue what's going on. That's all right. We don't really. Okay. Well, I think we'll wrap this up. We've been waffling for an hour and 20, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah. So thanks for joining me. I popped the link to Rod's channel below. So it should be there. If it's not, just put Pommy Pickers into YouTube and you'll find it. So please go over and give Rod a subscribe. You're slowly but surely reaching the 1,000 mark. Aren't you 600-700 somewhere?
I'm around about 700. It's not a race. If I get there, I get there. If I don't, I don't. I just enjoy doing the videos and chat, and I'm I think I've been on YouTube now for about 4 years, but for the past 2, I've probably 2.5 started putting more videos out. But yeah, if I get there, great. If I don't, I'm not really bothered. It's
exactly.
If you get 1,000 subscribers, don't think the next day I would imagine you're going to be earning loads and loads of money. You've got to have the likes of, I don't know, all these gaming YouTubers who have millions of views, subs, whatever, to earn some money. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I think people do imagine if you can monetize your videos, you're making a lot of money. It's not quite like that. I mean, we've been quite open about our channel, and we're kind of approaching 40,000, and it just about pays for the time I put in to give people an idea.
Yeah. Belinda, I am from Lancashire. I was originally from Manchester, but grew up spent the first 40 years of my life in a place called Haywood, near Rochdale.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to have to go and get some dinner. Thanks for joining me, Rod.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me on. It's good to catch up.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of these chats with other resellers. I kind of drifted away from that, but I really enjoyed this, so I might have to start doing these more regularly again.
Yeah, it's good to see different. You get different people, and they have different opinions, views, ideas mainly. It's good to get ideas off people.
Absolutely. Okay, well, like I say, go and check out Rod's channel, give him a sub, and I'll speak to you soon, mate.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks. Take care, and thanks for everyone asking questions and joining in the chat. Hopefully we answered a few. We're still not very good at that.
Just a few.
All right, take care. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.